We must talk about Romelu Lukaku. A bit of a bombshell being dropped today. According to reports, it has to be said, and that is that Inter have decided to give up on signing Romelu Lukaku, and it looks as though Juventus could be getting him. Seems as though, according to these reports, he has been in negotiations with Juventus, the club that he said he would never join, along with Milan, in that famous Sky Sports interview back in 2021. And this is what we're hearing now. So let's take a look at that quote. He said, "What would I do if a proposal from Juventus on Milan arrived? I would never go there. Never, 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 never."
Oh, so never.
Now, as it stands, Juventus want to be the team who signs him, according to the reports that we're hearing, but only if they can unload Dusan Vlahovic. Chelsea not interested at this stage. It's a surprising turn of events, isn't it, Frank?
It's even more than that. I think some people are lying. Some people are not really saying what they really feel. Maybe he only said 4 times that he will never go to Juventus. Maybe he should have said 10 times for us to see the truth in his thought. But really, it doesn't make any sense. We hear as well that Chelsea was interested about Vlahovic. Well, now we are told that it's not true, that Vlahovic might go to Paris Saint-Germain. Well, I mean, it's a big mess, but it's like, I would say, Lukaku's career. It's a big mess. And it's at the image of his career plan, what he wants to achieve in his life, how he can change his mind. I'm very fond of the guy. I mean, he's a nice person. As a football player, we all know the weaknesses of his game and what happened last season or the season before, and has been confirmed with his time at Inter, where he didn't really play for the Champions League, was most of the side substitutes. He has to change and be more consistent and work harder. Now it's hard for some clubs to bet on him because he doesn't give any insurance, or doesn't give insurance anymore enough to make sure and to put money on him. So I don't know if it's even true for Juventus. We're going to see, maybe tomorrow that Juventus may be not really interested about him. I want to see the end of the story. I really wish him to find a club, and hopefully he's going to find soon a club, and we'll see, like Kane's story, the truth about all the negotiation and everything that Romelu Lukaku wants to do and wants to go to.
It's interesting because obviously they are just reports at this point, but if they are true, why do you think when it seems so nailed on that he wanted to stay at Inter, he suddenly has a change of mind?
Well, I don't know if it's a change of mind from Lukaku. I think it's the negotiations themselves didn't quite go the way that he would have wanted and that Inter would have wanted. It felt like it was going to be Inter all along because that's the place that he wants to be. And what we have learned from Romelu Lukaku over the course of his career is that he's only consistently productive when he is in a place where he's appreciated and beloved. And that seemed to have been Inter. So why this has fallen apart, I have no idea. But now we find ourselves again wondering about Romelu Lukaku. And if you're any club, whether that's Juventus, whether that's Chelsea, whoever may be thinking about Lukaku, you have to take into consideration the caveat that I just mentioned. You have to put your arm around him. You have to love him and appreciate him and sometimes baby him in order for him to be able to produce at a high level. If you're not willing to do that, or the manager is not willing to do that, or the club is not willing to do that, then I think it's an opportunity for this club to move on. So you have to be very sure as to what you're expecting from Lukaku and what he can actually give you. And mind you, yet another big question about Lukaku is whether he's going to be fit enough to be available to you on a consistent basis.
But if he is fit enough, we know that Juventus will know that this is a man who can deliver in this league.
Yeah, you got to feel for Lukaku a little bit. I mean, when you make statements... Lukaku, you do. When you make statements along the lines of what he did 3 or 4 years ago, never, 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 that's because at the time, it's just... He's so in love with the place, and they're all over him, they're gushing over him, and everything's just perfect.
A couple of years ago, Stevie.
But I know, but... So he now finds himself in a position where, in his mind, he's probably thinking, you know what, Chelsea don't want me, I know Inter want me. And then all of a sudden, it drags on, and it drags on, and then you start thinking, well, do they really want me that much? Are they bothered? And Frank's talking about it already. Pre-season started, and all of a sudden Juventus call your agent? I mean, why don't you talk to Juventus? Because if you're Lukaku, pre-season started, you don't want to go to Chelsea. Chelsea don't want you. It doesn't look as though Inter love you as much as you thought they did. So why don't you talk to Juventus? He's absolutely spot on if he's talking to them. Because Inter clearly are either not as interested as they're telling him, or they're just not going to do it.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.